If you've been on the internet recently, you're probably aware of the whole Diablo Immortal incident. This game has had such a troubled production cycle and troubled history that its very name has been a running joke in the video game industry for the last few years. What kind of joke, you ask? Well, a particular kind of joke, one that might tell on a particular holiday in April.
Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to talk about what I think of Diablo Immortal and whether or not you should play it. But I'd like to provide some background for the uninitiated first. The Diablo franchise is easily one of Blizzard Entertainment's most successful IPs. Nowadays, everyone knows Blizzard for World of Warcraft and Overwatch, but it didn't always used to be that way. When Blizzard first started off, they were pretty experimental with their games. Some of their first releases included games like Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and while these titles definitely weren't bad, it would be a stretch to say that these were system sellers of any kind. Even if they were good games on their own, Blizzard released their first Warcraft game in 1994, and while this would go on to be a huge success with future sequels, they also started publishing a certain series of games in 1997. That first game was called Diablo. To say Diablo was a success would be an understatement. Diablo was wildly successful and garnered fans from all over the world. People absolutely fell in love with the gothic, dark, atmospheric of the game, as well as the semi-randomized gameplay. This was definitely categorized under the genre of roguelike many years later, but Diablo was very ahead of its time. So, although as popular as the original Diablo was, I think it's safe to say that Diablo 2 was a big Diablo game that fans would fall in love with. Everything in Diablo 2 was a direct improvement of Diablo 1. In fact, Diablo 2 was so popular that Blizzard recently partnered with Vicarious Visions to release a complete remaster of Diablo 2 for modern day hardware. Their remaster features new and improved graphics as well as the old style that fans originally fell in love with. Everything about it was a love letter to longtime Blizzard fans, and I'm not even getting started with Diablo 3. While some people were disappointed with the new direction the series went, I personally loved it, and I spent hundreds of hours grinding for gear, and I'm not the only one. So I don't think it's fair to expect Blizzard to realistically improve on Diablo 2, a game which many would consider a perfect game. All this brings us up to November of 2018 at that year's BlizzCon when Diablo Immortal was first announced to the public. To the shock and dismay of the fans, that would not be a console or PC game, but rather a mobile game exclusive to touchscreen devices. Longtime fans were furious over this decision after having waited so long for a proper sequel. At this time, Blizzard hasn't announced Diablo 4, so all the people had to satisfy their Diablo craving for the time. Infamous announcements spawned all sorts of memes you may or may have not seen, such as the infamous and arrogant quote from one of the developers when they said,
"Do you guys not have phones? Yeah, you guys all have phones."
In response to being asked about the possibility of a PC-friendly vision, the now famous red shirt guy asked the question, "Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?" To which the audience cheered him. No doubt they were all thinking the same thing. And all that was a part to why Blizzard dropped the ball so hard with Diablo Immortal. If you came to this video expecting a glowing review of the game, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but at the same time, I actually do want to give the game a fair chance. I don't think it's fair to immediately dismiss something without giving it a shot. So after having played the game a little bit, I'll give you a quick micro review on the game and some of my thoughts. Diablo Immortal is kind of good with 100 asterisks next to that statement. The presentation is actually pretty damn nice for a mobile game, and the gameplay really isn't bad for something that people wasn't expecting much from. It really doesn't look like a PC game that's maybe 7 or 8 years old. Graphically, it's not bad at all. However, that's about the praise I'm gonna pretty much give it. In case you don't know, this game is predatory as hell, specifically in reference to the quote-unquote free-to-play aspect of it. Obviously, the company needs to profit out of their game, so they changed the microtransactions for certain things, like gems that make your character more powerful, and these upgrades which are basically required to beat all the game's content. This is fine for a lot of games, but Diablo Immortal takes it to the absurd extreme. One source indicated that it would cost the player anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 to fully gear up in Diablo Immortal. Even if you aren't a hardcore player, even getting a moderately well-equipped character is still going to cost you hundreds of dollars at least. Needless to say, this is insane. Diablo Immortal would be a better subtitle for this one. These upgrades only cost, let's say, 15-20 bucks. Fine, that would be decent, but Diablo Immortal is just a slap in the face for anyone who's been enjoying this series for a long time, or anyone who wants to play this game just for fun. If you want a better Diablo experience, consider checking out Lost Ark, or even waiting for more news on Diablo 4, which I'm really hoping will deliver the core experience that fans have come to love. So with all that being said, if you aren't willing to pay anything, this game is actually sort of fun for a few couple hours. Once you started getting blocked by paywalls, personally I'd rather spend my time elsewhere. What did you guys think about Diablo Immortal? I know it's not a MMO, but I did want to bring it up because I do think that you guys might have some fun with it. Have you played it? Or if you know anyone else that plays it, what do you think? Leave me a comment down below. Thanks again for watching. Catch you guys next time.